As the country honors Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s life and legacy, we reflect on a tragic, historic event that motivated Dr. King's fight for civil rights: the 1955 kidnapping and murder of 14-year-old Emmett Till in Mississippi. In Dr. King's words, Till's lynching was, quote, one of the most brutal and inhuman crimes of the 20th century. 68 years later, the fight for justice for Till and his family continues. Joining me now, Reverend Wheeler Parker Jr., Emmett Till's cousin and co-author of A Few Days of Trouble, and the book's other co-author, Christopher Benson, Associate Professor of Northwestern's Medill School of Journalism. Thank you both very much for coming to the Sunday Show. Reverend Parker, it is nice to see you again. I saw you when you were in Mississippi with Secretary Haaland on that trip last year, and I would love for you to tell people your last memory of your cousin Emmett, whom you knew or called Bobo.
Of course, it was a very tragic day. I heard people speaking outside of the house about 2:30 in the morning, talking about two boys there from Chicago, and wanted to talk with the fat boy that did the talking at the store. It was very terrible, and it was pure terror. Of course, that's the last time we saw him alive.
Mm-hmm. You know, a passage in your book talks about the 1956 article in Look magazine titled "The Shocking Story of a Proved Killing in Mississippi." And in the article, Emmett Till's killers, who were accused, tried, and acquitted, include an exclusive confession where they detailed their barbarity. What was your reaction to that Look article then and now?
It has been, at the time until now, it's one of the most disturbing articles that I read. And they portrayed him as a person who brought this on himself and deserved what he got. And I still do not like the way he's been portrayed, even to now.
Professor Benson, you're the co-author of the book with Reverend Parker. What's the goal in writing this book, and what do you want people to know?
Well, we wanted to convey the truth, and the truth is experienced by Reverend Parker, but also is fed by the additional research that we were able to do. Our book is a book that progresses on parallel tracks. There's the intimate story of Reverend Parker, his traumatic memory, and there's also the investigation. We did something of a ride-along with the FBI during the last 4 years of the investigation, so we were able to look at documents that were accumulated, talk to the FBI, participate in the strategy as we move forward to determine if there was anybody still alive who could be indicted for this horrible crime. So we want people to understand that, because it's been terribly misreported over the years, starting with that Look magazine article. And we also wanted people to understand the full context for this crime. It's about more than Emmett Till, as horrible as this crime was. It's about power in America. And that Look magazine article, which purports to quote the two of the killers, actually was dictated to some extent by the lawyers who were part of the power structure in Mississippi at the time.
Mm-hmm. You know, Reverend Parker, what are your thoughts on legislation possibly authorizing the National Park Service to make the 9 Mississippi sites part of the National Park System in honor of Emmett Till? And as I mentioned in the intro, I mean, you and I were both there in Mississippi with Secretary Haaland, the Secretary of the Interior, where that decision will be made. And the one thing that took my breath away in this incredible story of the lynching of Emmett Till was just how vast an area is covered by the lynching of your cousin. Is this something that should be done? Should these 9 sites be recognized in this way?
I think so. This is an American story, and the Emmett Till story and the progress that has been made show how far we've come, and right now it shows how far we're willing to go to correct things. Well, there's a lot of work that still need to be done.
Professor Benson, last month, the House passed a resolution to award both Emmett Till and his mother, Mamie Till Mobley, the Congressional Gold Medal. Last year in March, President Biden signed a bill named after Emmett Till, making lynching a hate crime. What more would you like to see from lawmakers this year?
Well, we certainly want to see enforcement of the anti-lynching law and the Emmett Till Unsolved Civil Rights Crime Act law. What we see is that Emmett Till is still speaking to us, right? We talk about justice for Emmett Till, but we have to consider that there can be no justice for Emmett Till, who should have come home alive and unharmed. But there can be accountability, and part of that is enforcement of the laws that are on the books with Emmett Till's name. So forevermore, when people are charged under these laws, it'll be Emmett Till accusing them of crimes. Nobody answered for Emmett Till, but now people will answer to Emmett Till. So we want people to be aware of the story, to understand the context of the story as we move forward, and to consider their role as engaged citizens in this democratic society. We're on the cusp of a new reality in this country, and certainly people are having some trouble navigating this new terrain where white is no longer going to be the majority. And so we have to help educate people at a time when people are trying to erase our history as to the true meaning of what it means to be an American in this society, and also what their role is in a democratic society.
Mm-hmm. Reverend Parker, as you see at the bottom of the screen, the banner reads, "Pursuing Justice for Emmett Till." What does justice look like? What would justice look like for Emmett Till?
The most important thing to me, to portray him different than what he has been portrayed. We thought Tyson had given us that closure, but he didn't, and there's still some work, a lot of work need to be done in the area. We appreciate what has been done, and we honor all the things that has been done, but we still need to do more work on how he's portrayed, not only him, but black man, period, in America.